Instagram just released a major algorithm update that is going to make it 100 times easier to grow on Instagram if you're hitting the metrics I'm about to share with you. But I will warn you, if you're not hitting these metrics, it's going to become really hard to grow on Instagram. In fact, you might already be seeing a decreased amount of views that you're getting simply because you haven't adapted to these new changes. And all you have to do is fix these things and it's going to skyrocket your growth on Instagram right now. In fact, this creator literally just gained over 100,000 followers in 30 days simply by making these changes. And this creator was able to do the same thing, except they gained over 50,000 followers, and both of them were in the same shoes that you're in right now. They thought it was incredibly hard to grow on Instagram until they made a few simple changes, and boom, both of their accounts blew up. Change number one is that you can now see how many people have replayed your content on Instagram, and this has become a major factor with the current algorithm. So essentially what you want to be doing is getting people to watch your entire video more than once. If you're able to do that, it's going to increase the odds that Instagram actually pushes out your content. Now I will warn you, how many of these you actually need is going to depend on how long your video is, but essentially what you want to do in order to get people to replay your video is you want to focus on content that's shorter, or you want to focus on content that loops, or you want to focus on content that has a long description or gets people into the comment section, because if you can get them to do either of those two things, like reading the description or engaging with the comments, guess what's going to happen? It's going to increase the odds that that video loops in the background, and if the video loops, it's going to count as a replay on Instagram. Now, if you make a short video on Instagram, something less than 10 seconds long, you're going to need the majority of people to be a replay, but the longer your video is, the less people you need to do a replay, and the more replays you get on long form content, the higher the odds that Instagram is actually going to push out your content. Now remember, you can see this in your analytics now. If you go into your dashboard on a post or the insights on a post, you're going to begin to see replays, and you're also going to see an audience retention graph. Now this audience retention graph is going to explain to you exactly where people are dropping off, but I'll share a little bit more on that in just a little bit. Because you also need to make sure that you're getting more 3-second views on Instagram. This is another metric that's becoming incredibly important. If you're not getting people to view your content for at least 3 seconds, Instagram isn't going to push out your content. And the reasoning for this is that the longer people stay on Instagram, the more money Instagram makes. And guess what? If you can help Instagram make more money, they're gonna give you more views, they're gonna give you more followers, they're gonna give you more reach, and it's all going to be organic. And the 3 easiest ways for you to be able to increase the amount of people that stay on your video for 3 seconds are, one, going to be including an immediate action in the beginning of the video. For example, you could have something sliding across the screen, you'd be walking to the camera, or you can have an angle that actually incentivizes the viewer to wonder what's coming next. The second thing you could do is have text on the screen that hooks them in. Ideally, it's not going to be text on the screen that tells them what's coming next or completes the video for them, because it ideally should just be hooking them in. If the text that's on the screen in the first 3 seconds tells you exactly what's going to be coming in the video and it's not something outrageous, well, guess what? Now you're not actually incentivized to watch the rest of the video, so you swipe away. But you also need to make sure that it's something that invokes curiosity. And the third and easiest way for you to be able to get people to watch your content for 3 seconds is to make sure that your content is about something they actually care about. And this works especially well if you're a small account on Instagram, because odds are if you're a small account, nobody knows who you are. So in order to get somebody's attention, you need to talk about something they care about. This could be an authority figure, or it could be a brand, or it could be some new piece of news. Either way, you need to be including that type of stuff in your content, because it's going to increase the odds somebody watches for 3 seconds. That's going to make Instagram push your content like crazy. But that's not the only thing you need to change. You also need to make sure that you're writing descriptions that are the right length, you're using the right hashtags, and the right number of hashtags. Lucky for you, if you go to the pinned comment below, there's a 2023 social media report by HubSpot that is 100% free to download, and it's going to tell you exactly how long you should write your descriptions and what description lengths equate to the most views on Instagram, and it's going to share with you exactly how many hashtags you should be using and what type of hashtags are working best right now. On top of that, there's a study that actually reveals how much engagement you should be getting depending on how large your profile is. And for a lot of you, this is going to reveal exactly why you're not growing right now on Instagram. And again, this report was designed by HubSpot, who keeps me up to date on exactly what's trending on social media. And I strongly suggest that you stay up to date with them also, because they have tons of free resources that can help you grow quicker on social media and stay up to date on exactly what's trending. So if you're not getting the reach you want on Instagram right now, I strongly suggest you go to the pinned comment below and sign up for that 2023 social media trends report, because it's going to share with you so much valuable information that's going to help you increase your reach. Now this brings me to the next change that you need to make, which is you need to make sure that you're optimizing your descriptions, and you need to also make sure that you're optimizing the ends of your videos, because you can't just be focused on the beginning or the hook of your video. You also need to make sure that the ends are good, and essentially the easiest way for you to get better at this is to make sure that you're paying attention to those new audience retention graphs that you should now be seeing on Instagram. Essentially what these graphs are going to reveal to you is that if there's a huge dip in the beginning of the video, it means people weren't hooked with your content. If there's a huge dip at the end of the video, it means your call to action wasn't good, or you took too long to sign off in the video, and that's why people aren't sticking around there. And if you see a consistent dip across the whole entire video, well, you didn't promise people enough in the beginning, or you weren't delivering on that promise, and that's why people are dropping off the whole entire time. But the good thing is now you can actually get better at this stuff because Instagram gave us these audience retention graphs. On top of that, you need to make sure that you're optimizing both the end of your video and your description to have a really good call to action. Ideally, your call to action should be getting somebody to follow or getting somebody to share your content. A lot of you right now are trying to get people to like, comment, share, or like, share, save, and you shouldn't be doing that, because the more options that you give somebody, the higher the odds that they don't actually take action on anything. So you might think that you're gonna get people to take a ton of different actions, when ideally you should just be getting people to take one of two actions, which is going to be to follow you or to share, because those are the number one and number two things that Instagram is looking for in terms of engagement. The amount of comments you get doesn't matter that much. The amount of saves you get doesn't matter that much. The amount of likes you get doesn't matter that much. And that stuff used to matter back in the day, so you might just be following outdated tips. Now what you need to be doing is focusing on getting people to follow and focusing on getting them to share. Now, for those of you right now that are saying to yourself, but I don't want to ask people any type of call to action, either in my description or at the end of the video, you're making a massive mistake, because creators that don't have a call to action get 70% less engagement and 70% less followers. You simply telling somebody to follow you for a really good reason could be the difference between you getting no followers from a post and you getting thousands of followers, because the last thing that you want to happen on Instagram is for one of your posts to go viral and you didn't include a call to action, and then you're going to be one of those creators with a video with 100,000 views or 1 million views and you have no followers to show for it. On top of that, I do want to emphasize 95% of your followers on Instagram right now are going to come from 5% of your posts. So I wouldn't think that every single one of your posts is going to go viral. That's a really bad precedent to set. Instead, I would simply just try to put out better and better content every single time that you post, and hopefully you're going to go viral a few times a month. And those 5% of posts that went viral are going to get you 95% of your followers, and that is where you're going to see massive growth on Instagram, because I bet most Instagram creators in your niche right now that are bigger don't get tons and tons of views every single time that they post, but they do get tons of views a few times a month, and that is where all their followers actually come from. And I say that not to scare you, but actually to encourage you, and that should alleviate some of your stress so that you don't feel like everything that you need to do needs to be perfect. And on top of that, you need to make sure that the content you're creating is something that the audience that you're trying to reach is actually interested in. And there are 3 ways for you to figure this out. The first one is if you go to the search bar on Instagram, you're gonna see a bunch of trending ideas there. If you create content on that, it's gonna increase the odds that your post is gonna do well. The second thing you should be doing is trying to rank for search on Instagram, because 50% of people under the age of 30 actually go to Instagram to search for things. And if you're able to rank for search, you're gonna get views 24/7. And then the third place you need to be looking is looking at your competitors' profiles, or ideally you should be interacting with your niche on Instagram so that you can see what posts are going to be trending, because Instagram is gonna show them to you, and then you can make sure that you're using the sounds that are in those posts, hopping on the topics that are in those posts, or maybe even remixing some of those posts and piggybacking off of the success that other creators have had. Because at the end of the day, if you're not hopping on the trends that are happening within your niche, like the 3 things that I just shared with you, it's going to be the reason that you fail to grow on Instagram right now, or you might not be posting at the right time. And lucky for you, I created this video right here that literally tells you the best time to post on Instagram for your specific account. So what are you waiting for? Watch this video right here. I'll see you over there.